All right, now for the most exciting part. We're going to go into some of the advanced applications that we have learned over the years and we're going to share with you. So are you ready to step into the big leagues? We're going to cover deploying advanced strategies for multi-step tasks. We're going to teach you how to use projects. And we're going to teach you my favorite thing called meta prompting. So the learning objectives for this module. First of all, I'm going to teach you how to break down complex tasks into manageable sub-prompts. We're going to figure out how to use AI for multi-step workflows as opposed to just one-off interactions. I'll teach you the importance of when to use projects in ChatGPT, and we'll teach you how to start thinking as a meta prompter. So after training thousands of people, it's these advanced applications that take you from a basic prompting kind of framework and approach to actually using AI for more sophisticated workflows that actually solve real problems for you or your business. So what do I mean when I say we need to decompose complex tasks when we use ChatGPT? Well, what I mean is that rather than just put everything into one giant, huge prompt, you want to actually break it down into more kind of bite-sized pieces or asks for the AI. You don't want to have to overwhelm the AI that you talk to. When you break tasks down into single prompts and you chain them together, what you're essentially doing is you're unleashing the full power of this intelligent system to give you very specific results, task by task. So this can work really, really well when you want to work with the AI as kind of like a collaborative partner, where you go step by step. At each step, you verify whether that subtask, whether it's right, or whether you need to give it some feedback or change something before moving on to the next step. This is also really useful to decompose these tasks when you've got a different type of approach that the AI needs to take. So let's say that we have a specific problem we want to solve, and you want to start off it with the AI being very analytical. Maybe it's looking at some data, it's reading some reports, and then you want to get to the creative problem-solving approach. You wouldn't want to chuck this into one prompt because it's going to confuse the AI. So you want to break it down. You want to get it to be analytical first. You want it to synthesize the information. Then you want it to be creative. So before I show you an example of what this looks like in practice, let's walk through when you should break down tasks into smaller prompts or when you should just put everything all into one prompt. So when should you break it down? Well, if you have a multi-step research task, it can be useful to break it down. If you are, exploring things, brainstorming with the AI, collaborating and going back and forth with it, or like I said before, if you have a different kind of cognitive mode, the creative versus analytical. So when do you want to keep it together into one big prompt? Well, I'd say when you have, you want to create a piece of content. Let's say like when we created the job description, you probably want to do that in one go. If you want to create a LinkedIn post, I'd say too, if you have like simple summaries or explanations, or if you just have a single goal that you want the AI to do, just go create a new chat, put it all into one prompt and get the response. And then I would say that it's also important to include it all in one response if you really don't want the AI to miss anything, because each message that you send gets added to this huge conversation. So if you're, let's say, 10 messages down, but the important information is at the first message, it's unlikely the AI will be able to pick up that is important. So in those cases, what you'll do is you should actually ask it to do it in one go. So before I show you what it means to actually break a complex task down into subtasks, I'll show you what it means to just do it in one go. So here I'm looking at ChatGPT and I wanted to write an SEO optimized blog post for our company. Essentially, I've said, write a 1,500 word technical SEO optimized blog post about Prompt Cowboy and how it works. The article is titled Prompt Engineering 101 Tips, Templates, and Tools. So if I click send, the AI is going to reason through the problem, think through the problem, and then it's going to give me a response. And as you can see here, it's done a bit of research. It's got a decent structure. It's kind of figured out what Prompt Cowboy is, realized we're a purpose-built prompt generator. It's got some of the key capabilities. It's got, how Prompt Cowboy works. But really, this isn't that useful to me because I'm not confident that this is actually going to be optimized for SEO and it's going to help us to rank Prompt Cowboy on Google. So this is a classic example of where I would want to break down this task into small, discrete steps, where every step has a specific goal. And so here is an example of how I would do that. I would break it into 5 different steps. I would first ask ChatGPT to research about Prompt Cowboy, figure out what it does, what's the problem it solves, what's the solution, the target market. I'd then get it to do some keyword research, which is a technique to figure out what are the right keywords we want to rank for so that the right people are finding our content on Google. So I'd say, act as an SEO specialist and research the keywords that Prompt Cowboy should be ranking for. And you can see I'm actually breaking this problem down and trying to discover what I want with AI. And then the third step would be creating the SEO strategy. So I've got a bunch of keywords. I like one of those keywords, and I'm going to ask the AI to come up with an SEO strategy for ranking for that keyword. Then I'll take that information, I'll move it to the 4th step, and I'll essentially create a blog outline using that. And then once we're done there, we can actually create the full final draft using ChatGPT. And I haven't bothered going into ChatGPT to show you how this would work because it would take a while and there'd be a lot of text, but you can see the core principle is here of me thinking, okay, AI is a collaborative partner. How do I build out the huge amounts of context so that the AI is kind of systematically solving the problem one by one with me?